They told you meaning was something you found, something waiting for you at the end of a long journey, hidden in a job title, a relationship, a bank account, or a stage. But they lied. Meaning isn't found, it's forged. It's carved out of your chaos, built from the ashes of everything you thought you needed to become someone. It's born the moment you stop searching out there and start remembering in here. You are not here to chase meaning. You are here to be it, to live in such a way that your existence becomes the answer to a question no one else was brave enough to ask. To walk into the world, not begging for direction, but creating it with every step. But to do that, you must confront the truth most run from. You have no idea who you are. And that's exactly where it begins. You are handed a name, a language, a religion, a culture, a system of shoulds and should nots. Before you had the chance to choose, you were taught how to conform. Before you had the space to breathe, you were taught how to obey. Before you had a voice, you were taught to silence it. And that's not your fault. But it is your responsibility now. Because if you don't unlearn what they planted in you, you'll spend your life building someone else's dream, living someone else's truth, dying in someone else's version of success. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But becoming is not convenient. It's violent. It's the tearing away of false skins. It's the unraveling of inherited identities. It's the sacred dismantling of everything you built just to feel accepted. Most people will never do it. They will confuse security with selfhood. They will confuse validation with value. They will confuse comfort with meaning. But not you, because something in you is awake. And once you wake up, truly wake up, you cannot go back to sleep. This world is starving for truth, but it feeds you illusions. Every scroll, every headline, every performance, a carefully constructed mask built to sedate your spirit. They don't want you awake, because a conscious mind cannot be controlled. A clear heart cannot be bought. A rooted soul cannot be manipulated by likes, trends, or threats. So they feed you syphoria. That's what I call it, syphoria. The euphoric numbness you feel when you're deeply disconnected from who you are. But everything looks fine on the surface. You smile, you perform. You get the job, you get the followers, you get the apartment, the partner, the brand of worth they sold you, and yet you feel nothing because you didn't build any of it from you. You built it from fear, from the need to be chosen, from the terror of being forgotten. And now, even when your life looks like everything you wanted, you ache. You ache because you're living a life that fits someone else's definition of meaning. You ache because your soul wasn't designed to be caged in applause. You ache because the truth inside you is screaming, "This isn't it." So what is it? It's you, unfiltered, untamed, unapologetically whole. It's the version of you that isn't performing, the version of you that can sit in silence and still feel worthy, the version of you that doesn't need to be impressive, just real. And to get there, you must destroy the version of you that was built to survive. You must shatter the mirror you've been polishing for approval. You must stop fixing the image and start healing the self. Because the self doesn't need to be fixed. It needs to be remembered. Mindset isn't about thinking positive. It's about seeing clearly. It's about recognizing the voice in your head that tells you you're not enough and realizing it isn't yours. That voice is an echo of every teacher who shamed your curiosity, of every parent who punished your sensitivity, of every friend who envied your light, of every system that said, shrink to fit or be forgotten. But your mindset isn't your enemy. It's your battleground. And you are not a victim in this war unless you choose to be. Mindset is choosing the thoughts that serve your evolution, not your ego. It's curating your beliefs with the same intensity you curate your appearance. It's realizing that every belief is a spell, and most of us are cursed by our own. You want freedom? It begins with breaking the spell that says you're not ready, the spell that says you're too much, the spell that says someone else has to choose you first. Break it, burn it, rewrite the script, because you are not here to live a recycled story. You are here to write a new mythology in your own blood and fire. Belief isn't optional. You believe something, always. The question is, does your belief system build you or bury you? Belief is an engine. It's what moves you when motivation is gone. It's what steadies you when fear screams. It's what anchors you when everything else collapses. But most people don't believe in themselves. They believe in their trauma. They believe in their patterns. They believe in the roles they've been cast in. And belief, when misplaced, becomes a cage. It keeps you loyal to identities you've outgrown. It keeps you performing for an audience that stopped clapping years ago. It keeps you stuck in a version of life that fits but never feels. The remedy? Radical belief. Belief in your becoming. Belief in your chaos. Belief in the sacred intelligence of the voice that keeps whispering. There's more. You don't need a map. You are the compass. You don't need permission. You are the authority. You don't need a savior. You are the one you've been waiting for. Clarity cuts deeper than courage. Because once you see clearly, you can't unsee. Once you know, you can't pretend you don't. And that kind of knowing destroys everything built on lies. Clarity is not comfort. It's confrontation. It is a mirror that doesn't lie. It is a spotlight that exposes. It is the silence that speaks louder than noise. Clarity ends delusion. Clarity ends distraction. Clarity is a scalpel that removes everything that is not you. But clarity comes at a price. It demands solitude. It demands stillness. It demands that you stop asking others what your life should look like and start listening to what your soul has been begging you to hear. And when it comes, when clarity lands in your chest like a silent explosion, you will know you are not here to fit in. You are here to become visible to yourself. Vision is not fantasy. It is the glimpse of what your life could be if you stop betraying your soul. Vision is sacred, not because it looks good on paper, but because it feels like truth in your bones. It terrifies you because it shows you everything you've hidden behind your excuses. It haunts you because it knows you were never meant for mediocrity. It saves you because it keeps whispering, keep going, I'm waiting. Vision is not about certainty. It's about alignment. It's the inner compass that says, even if I don't know how, even if no one claps, even if I lose everything, this is still the direction I choose. Because the alternative is death by comfort, a slow erosion of your essence, a life of pretending to be fine, while your soul starves for something real. And if you were honest, you've already lived that life. And it nearly killed you. So now you choose differently. Not for applause, but for aliveness. Purpose is not something you find in a book, a career test, or a hashtag. Purpose is what emerges when you stop running. When you sit in the discomfort long enough to hear what's underneath the noise. It's not glamorous. It's not always loud. It won't always come with clarity or confidence. But it's there, in the ache that never leaves, in the restlessness you try to numb, in the quiet knowing that whispers through your doubt. This is not all there is. Purpose isn't given. It's claimed, and It doesn't come to the version of you that waits. It comes to the version of you that moves, even when afraid. Purpose reveals itself in motion, in the doing, in the breaking, in the building, but you cannot live your purpose and your lie at the same time. You must choose. You cannot chase what feels real and cling to what makes you feel safe. You cannot step into your future while gripping the fragments of a past you've outgrown. Let it go. Let go of who you were told to be. Let go of the dream that was never yours. Let go of the life that fits on paper but suffocates your spirit. Your purpose is not found in perfection. It's found in presence. It's found in the way you show up when it's hard. It's found in the way you keep your fire lit, even when the world offers you water. Discipline is the fuel of purpose, but not the discipline you were taught. Not discipline as punishment, not as guilt, not as force. Real discipline is love in action. It's the daily decision to choose what's aligned over what's easy. Discipline is sacred. It's the ritual of becoming, the daily practice of aligning who you are with who you're becoming. It's choosing to create when no one's watching. It's choosing to train when no one's clapping. It's choosing the harder right over the easier wrong, again and again and again, because you know what's at stake if you don't, because you remember how it felt to abandon yourself, because you've buried the version of you who broke every time it got hard, and now you rise with fire in your chest. Discipline isn't about restriction. It's about devotion. Devotion to your vision, devotion to your evolution, devotion to the kind of life that doesn't need a filter to feel worth living. And yes, there will be days you don't feel like it. Do it anyway, not because it's easy, but because the version of you that's waiting, the one with peace in their mind, fire in their voice, clarity in their walk, deserves to exist. Action. Without it, everything dies. In theory, action is the bridge between your intention and your identity. It is the daily rebellion against paralysis. It is the answer to every doubt you've ever had about your worth. Because action proves to your nervous system that you are no longer a slave to fear. You want confidence? Act. You want clarity? Move. You want healing? Create. You want to matter? Show up. You do not need to feel ready. You do not need to feel confident. You just need to begin. One step, one breath, one choice that defies the story that says, I can't, and then another, and another, until the story becomes unrecognizable because you stopped feeding it. This is the part most people avoid. They'd rather overthink than act, because thinking feels safe. But thinking is not transformation. Only action is. You want to be the meaning you keep searching for? Then stop searching. Start becoming. Gratitude is not a mood. It's a weapon. It is a frequency that turns scarcity into sufficiency. It is the lens that reveals the gold inside the grief. Gratitude is rebellion in a world that profits from your dissatisfaction. It is how you say, despite everything I lack, I choose to see what remains. I choose to see what this pain has given me. I choose to find power in the ashes. Because there's always something in the ashes. There's always a gift beneath the wound, but only if you're willing to open your eyes through the smoke. Gratitude doesn't mean you accept mediocrity. It means you no longer need suffering to feel awake. It means you don't wait for the storm to pass. How you thank the storm? For what it washed away. You become unshakable when you can look at your most painful chapters and say, thank you. You didn't break me, you built me. Adaptability is evolution in real time. To be adaptable is to be alive, to be fluid, to know who you are so deeply. That change doesn't unravel you, it reveals you. Rigidity is ego, the need to control, to predict, to possess, but the soul doesn't work that way. The soul is water. It moves, it feels, it becomes. You do not need the world to bend to your plan. You need to trust yourself to bend without breaking. Adaptability is not weakness. It is the highest expression of trust. Trust in your ability to respond with presence instead of reacting from fear. It is the art of saying, I may not control this moment, but I control who I am within it. The world will change. People will leave, dreams will die, but you will remain not as you were, but as someone new. Resilience is not the absence of pain. It is the integration of it. It is the warrior's soul saying, I didn't come this far to collapse now. It is not about bouncing back. It's about rising deeper, wiser, sharper, quieter. Resilience is born in the fire, but it's forged in the rebuild. It's the decision to return to your mission, to your values, to your power, no matter how many times the world tries to take it from you. They won't see the pain behind your strength. They won't know the nights you shattered silently. They'll only see your eyes, and something in them will say, this one's been through war and came back whole. That is resilience. The unshakable knowing you're no longer afraid of the breaking because you've met the version of yourself that only pain could reveal. Learning is not about the accumulation of facts. It's about the annihilation of ignorance. It's about emptying the cup of who you think you are so something real can be poured in. Most people stop learning the moment it gets uncomfortable. They protect their egos like glass, fragile, delicate, easily shattered. But ego is not truth. Ego is armor. And armor, when worn too long, becomes a coffin. True learning demands death. Death of your certainty. Death of your conditioning. Death of the version of you who'd rather be right than be reborn. If you want to grow, you must become a student of yourself. You must dissect your own reactions. You must question the script that runs your decisions. You must interrogate the truths you inherited like hand-me-downs, never questioning if they fit, just wearing them, because that's what good people do. But you weren't born to be good. You were born to be real. And realness requires study, deep study, relentless observation, a hunger for awareness so intense that ignorance dies just being near you. So read, so ask, so reflect, so challenge, so walk into every conversation, every experience, every mirror with the courage to say, I might be wrong, and that's how I'll become more right than I've ever been. That's learning, not memorizing, metamorphosis. And now we arrive not at the end, but at the edge of the version of you that searched endlessly. The version of you that thought meaning was out there, in titles, in lovers, in acceptance, in gold. But none of it ever lasted, because you cannot outsource what you were born to create. You are not here to find the light. You are here to ignite it. You are not here to seek meaning. You are here to become it. Be the meaning you keep searching for. Be the stillness that dissolves chaos. Be the fire that warms others without burning yourself out. Be the presence that speaks louder than any sermon. Be the clarity that disarms confusion. Be the permission others never had. Be the truth they buried under shame. Be the love that doesn't abandon. Be the standard no one else dared to uphold. Your life exactly as it is the canvas. Your choices exactly as they are the brush. Your inner world is the only masterpiece that ever mattered. Let every scar be ink. Let every failure be a color. Let every resurrection be a bold, defiant stroke. You are not waiting for the world to give you a mission. You are the mission. You are not hoping for the right path to appear. You are the path. Walk like it. Speak like it. Stand like it. Breathe like it. Not with arrogance, but with the unwavering stillness of someone who's finally come home to themselves. You were never lost. You were never broken. You were never unworthy. You were just living inside a borrowed narrative. One that told you to shrink. One that told you to smile when you wanted to scream. One that taught you how to be liked, but never how to be whole. And now it's time to let it die. Because the story you write from this moment forward will not be about what you chased. It will be about what you claimed. It will be about how you stopped seeking to be chosen and started choosing yourself. That's the shift. That's the awakening. That's the quiet revolution they won't see coming. But they'll feel it in the way you move, in the way you speak, in the way you no longer chase, beg, explain, or shrink. You just are, undeniably, unapologetically, unshakably. You. So let the world spin. Let the noise rise. Let the illusions shout. You'll walk through all of it. Not because you're cold, but because you are finally clear. And clarity? Clarity is power. Not the kind that controls others, but the kind that reclaims your own soul. And once you have that, once you've touched that fire inside and refused to run from it, once you've burned the old stories and danced in the smoke of your rebirth, nothing outside of you can ever own you again. Because now you are the meaning. You are what you were looking for. And no one, nothing, ever again gets to take that away.